So as Monty Python used to say, now for something completely different. We're going to shift gears here for a minute. We may chuckle pretty consistently about their predictions, but economists are generally a pretty serious bunch. That is with the exception of one. We search the globe, and I'm fairly certain the man I'm about to introduce is the world's first and only stand-up economist. I have it on good authority. He's predicted 9 out of the last 5 recessions. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a loud, raucous Oregon welcome to Yoram Bauman, the stand-up economist.
Thank you very much. I like to tell jokes about politics and economics that appeal to people across the political spectrum. I was worried that would be a difficult thing to do here in Portland because in Portland there is no political spectrum. It runs from like Portland State to Reed. But Duncan told me that half of the Oregon State Legislature is here, which is great, but he didn't tell me which half. But what I'd like to do in any case is divide you up across the political spectrum. So this is the audience participation part. So the way most people think about politics, of course, is left wing, right wing. So for the next couple of minutes, you folks over here on the left side of the room, I need you guys to come through for me. You guys on the left, you guys get to represent the left wing. That was actually an appropriate amount of enthusiasm for the left wing of the American political spectrum these days. Now, you folks over here on the right, I need you guys to come through for me. You guys on the right, you guys are my right wing. That was okay, but when I did this in Texas last year, they started chanting USA. I want you to do that for me. You guys are my right wing. USA, USA. All right, that was okay. You guys over here on the left, though, you guys were perfect. No, because all the right wing was chanting USA. You were just sitting there looking befuddled and vaguely unpatriotic. Now, that's the way most people think about the political spectrum is left wing, right wing, but it actually leaves out the most important part of the political spectrum. The left wing is actually over here, and the right wing is over here, and you folks here in the middle, you all are the most important part of the political spectrum. You all are my swing voters. Now, your job, swing voters, when it comes to politics and current events, extremely important. Your job is to pay absolutely no attention whatsoever. And then every 4 years, you determine the fate of the free world. Now, I know that sounds like a big responsibility, okay, but trust me, don't give it a second thought. And that's really how the political spectrum is divided. You've got the left wing, spineless. You've got the right wing, heartless. You got the middle, clueless. There are also, of course, the extremes of the political spectrum, far right of the political spectrum, just the folks against the wall here on the far right. Far right of the political spectrum, you all get to be my libertarians. That's cool, you can do what you want. Far left of the political spectrum, just the folks on the far left, you all on the far left get to be my libertarians. I'm seeing confused looks from the swing voters. No, I had someone in the middle once who was like, libertarians? You mean the people that check books out for me? And I had to clarify that libertarians are freedom lovers. Right? They come in 2 flavors. You've got right-wing libertarians. They want everybody to be free to use guns, preferably with Leopold and Stevens laser sights manufactured right here in Oregon. You've got left-wing libertarians. They want everybody to be free to use drugs. Now, both wings of the Libertarian Party want to abolish Social Security and Medicare, right, which makes total sense, okay, because who's going to make it to 65? When the world is full of pistol-packing potheads and meth fiends with machine guns. I actually spent a lot of time lately thinking about politics because I just spent 5 months in China, and I was afraid that the Chinese people were going to be like, tell me about democracy. And I went to China, and the Chinese people were like, what's up with your budget deficit? And I had to say, let me tell you about democracy. Okay? I mean, I know like the left blames the right and the right blames the left, but I actually blame the center. We don't have a budget deficit because left-wing folks believe in mandates or because right-wing folks believe in markets. We have a budget deficit because the middle believes in magic. I actually did just get back from 5 months in China. Everybody in China knows about the U.S. budget deficit. They know that China owns $3 trillion in U.S. Treasury debt. They don't always necessarily understand what it means. I had one fellow there who told me that America was a loan shark. I was like, America is not a loan shark. America is like a borrowing walrus. We're just like floating in a sea of our own treasury bonds. And this guy was like, don't talk to me about those treasury bonds. Right? They're lousy. Here in China, we're pissed off that you sold us those treasury bonds. And I said, that's really interesting because in America, we're pissed off that you bought them. Now, usually in economics, you have trade that benefits both parties, right? Mutual benefits from trade. But to have a situation where both parties are unhappy, like that really takes effort. Now, on my way back from China, I actually stopped in Singapore for a couple of days. Singapore, extremely clean, but I really missed the free speech opportunities that I had when I was in China. This is actually true, and the reason is that in China, the government officials are too busy engaging in corruption to pursue censorship, at least for English-speaking audiences. So I actually opened up one of my shows in Beijing. I started one of my shows by welcoming everybody to the latest meeting of Occupy Beijing, and told them that I was very impressed that there was such a strong turnout, especially in light of what happened after our previous meeting 22 years ago. Right, and nothing happened to me when I was in China. On the other hand, when I went to Singapore, everybody in Singapore was like, what are you doing in Singapore? I said, oh, I'm here to do some comedy. And they were like, uh-oh. Be careful. Right, there are all these things that apparently you're not supposed to talk about. And then I was worried. I was like, like what happens if, I say something wrong and then I get hauled before the judge or something like this. And the judge will be like, what were you thinking? And I'll say, I don't know. I was thinking that I was in America. And the judge would say, that's ridiculous. You know you're not in America. Just look around. The streets are clean. The schools are good. I did, however, learn, what I told the folks in Singapore was that they should really lighten up a little bit, right? I mean, the government in Singapore is extremely efficient. But they're a little heavy-handed in some areas. So I really told them they could probably learn something from the Chinese a little bit, right? They should spend a little bit more time engaging in graft and a little bit less time going after like the gays and the gum chewers. And everybody would be a lot happier. I did learn, however, that there's a key difference between the governments in Singapore, in China, and in the United States. Here's a summary of the difference in those three countries. In Singapore, the government is run like a business. In China, the government is a business. And in the United States, the government is on the verge of going out of business. I'll be back this afternoon to entertain you a little bit more. I'm going to turn it back over to Pat.
Thank you. Yoram, ladies and gentlemen, the stand-up economist.